All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash, the honor some of the apostles, the great millstone, the peace and salutation to the hopeful members of the elect, the Bukharim, the house of David, that's been preordained, predestined to get to live in these last times and to be the ruling governing body of the nation Yasha. And I want to go into a few topics. The first one is I want to start is with the Genius Act that Donald J. Trump, the king of Babylon, has just passed. All right, it says, and it's from Chat GPT. It says Genius Act, formerly known as the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act. All right, stablecoins going to your cryptocurrency. A groundbreaking piece of legislation recently signed into law by President Trump on July 18, 2025. So what is the Genius Act? Overview. The Genius Act establishes the first ever federal regulations for payment stablecoins, which are cryptocurrencies pegged to assets like the US dollar to reduce volatility. It requires stablecoins to be fully backed on a one-to-one basis with cash or safe liquid assets, example US dollar or short-term treasuries, with monthly public disclosures of reserve composition and annual audited statements for large issuers. Key provisions: consumer protections, prohibits issuers from making misleading claims like implying government backing or federal insurance, and requires strong marketing standards. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just going to get to the point. So in short, Trump has just signed into law the Genius Act, a landmark bill regulating stablecoins with a full reserve requirements, consumer protections, and federal oversight rules. It's the U.S. first major crypto regulatory statute, marking a significant shift in how digital currency will be governed, because we are moving into a digital financial system. And Esau Edom, the elites, the international banking families, which are Amalekites, Edomites, okay, but the chief house is Amalek, they are moving closer with their New World Order. They are moving closer with establishing this digital financial system even more so, because they're conditioning the minds of these people. It's already conditioned where you use your phone to pay, credit cards, all right? A lot of online banking. You see, you pay with your smartwatch. That's going to become, I mean, it's already, again, the norm. But paper money will be so obsolete even more now. I remember the coin shortage, you know? And again, that's just one step closer to their actual plans, is the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast spoken of in Revelation 13, verse 16, how all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bonds, can receive that mark, charagma in the Greek. All right. If you go into the latter two root words of that, it's karax and graphos, charagma, all digital idol, that chip, karax, needle, graphos, writings, information, your data will be stored on that chip. Okay. They're moving closer to that, because you won't buy or sell unless you have that chip, and that's how you will live within their societies. All right. That's why they're creating their 15-minute cities or smart cities. And we are here to tell you, you Hebrew Israelites, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, do not take that chip. If you take that chip, you're saying that Esau Edom is your master, when the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, they're your one true power. Okay? So I asked, so we are moving towards a digital financial system even more, basically. It said exactly, yes, we are moving even deeper into, it's like, I just want to see if I read, I already read that. So it says we are moving even deeper into a digital financial system, and the Genius Act is a clear sign of that shift. Here's what this move really means. Digital finance shift. What's happening? Stable coins get legitimized. The Genius Act brings legal clarity and rules to stable coins, which are digital tokens that stay pegged to a real world assets like the US dollar. All right, before this stable coins like USDC and Tether operated in legal gray zones. Now they're being treated more like digital versions of cash with rules. Okay, and let me just get a scripture. Okay, let me get Revelation, because this man, these elites are moving quicker. Revelation 12 verse 12, and it reads, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them." And we're rejoicing, the elect, because we know that the sooner this comes, the sooner Yahweh Shai returns. All right, because once this happens, the RFID chip is mandated. Revelation 13 verse 16 all the way down. We know that soon after we'll pursue is World War III. And in the midst of that, Yahweh Shai will return any day, from that point on. All right, and deliver the elect, destroy, Esau Edom's system, which I'm gonna get a scripture because his new order will not be prolonged. All right, and America will be nuked by nuclear fire, and the Lord is gonna deliver his elect, and we call chariots because the chariots are on their way. That's one video I'm gonna get in this lesson, based on a few topics. There's been major sightings, of course, of chariots, but just one recently is definitely it's eye grabbing. Okay, it should be in major news, but you know that the news won't air this out. Okay, it says, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea." All right, that's everyone else outside the elect, and of course by default these heathens. "For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." And he actually will come down with great wrath, with his mercenary troops, his military, his robots, everything he's gonna throw, his orchestrated famines and pestilences. Okay, but the key point I want to really focus in on is because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. You see, these elites, they know that they have a very short time. Why? Because they see the chariots, they see the prophets, the men of the Lord prophesying, the true prophets. Are starting with our elder apostles of Great Millstone, going out there preaching and prophesying the downfall of this man's kingdom. Okay, so they're trying to hurry up with their new world order. They're trying to get everything established quickly. All right, you always hear in the talks of 2030 that they want to really fully implement this, which I can see them trying to do it before, because the Most High controls everything. All right. So let's go back. It says banks and fintechs can compete. Regulated entities like banks, credit unions, and even new crypto firms can now issue these digital dollars, giving rise to new competition and innovation. This could replace traditional payment rails like Visa, ACH, etc. in the long run with faster programmable money. Number 3, digital dollars, but not CBDC. This isn't a central bank digital currency. That's what CBDC means. The US government is still hesitant on that front. Instead, it's a private sector driven approach where companies under regulation create stable coins backed by real US dollars or short-term treasuries. Think of it like a free market for digital dollars under rules that keeps things secure. Why it's a big deal? Speed and accessibility. Stable coins can be sent worldwide in seconds, cheaper and faster than bank wires. Programmability. These digital dollars can have rules built. Example, smart contracts that release funds automatically. Surveillance risk. Critics warn this system could also increase financial surveillance or allow the government to freeze assets more easily. Shift from physical cash. As more transactions move digital, physical cash usage may keep declining even without a CBDC. Right, that's what they want. They want physical cash to fully cease. Okay, and they're going to create some type of event and establish more executive orders to go further into that, further and more into their digital currency and the less usage of cash. I mean, you already see it with China. If you use physical money in China, paper money, they consider you like very ancient, very old. All right, everyone uses their phones to pay. I've seen it. Not I haven't went there physically, but when I'm like on certain videos of streamers from China, just because I like to see what's going on out there, because I feel like China's such a for many other reasons. Personally, somewhat have a liking to the culture. All right, but I also want to see what's going on out there because China's like the guinea pig of these elites. It's like a test run country. But yeah, everyone uses the smartphone. Everyone. Okay. So bottom line, yes, this law accelerates the digitization of the U.S. financial system, not with a government-issued digital dollar, but through a regulated private stablecoins. It's a major paradigm shift, like the early days of the internet before money. Woo! And see how the internet has taken over. All right. So that's that. Let me get one more scripture because I said how this man's not going to move forward with his new order because Yahweh Shah is going to come back and dismantle all that. All right. Job chapter 5, verse 12. He, talking about Yahweh Shah, disappointed the devices of the crafty. The devices of the crafty, these elites, their MO, their agenda, what they want to accomplish, their new order, new world order, which they won't accomplish. Even the back of their dollar bill, Novus Ovo Seclorum. Actually, let me let's see, I can get that real quick. Right here it is. Novus Ordo Seclorum in Latin, okay, which was the language the Romans were speaking, okay, which were the Edomites. It means New World Order. In fact, let's just add ChatGPT real quick. Novus Ordo Seclorum. Means what? New order of the ages, right? It is not literal. See, ChatGPT. Don't. No, that's exactly what it means. No, it's a new order. Okay. Sometimes you got the way you gotta word it with ChatGPT. You gotta tell it go with the conspiracy theory, and it'll go fully into it. But it's not a conspiracy. I mean, conspiracy means with spirit. Okay, the elder has broke that word down, but it's truth. It's factual. All right. Either way, new order of ages. Okay. What age are we in? And these elites, they want to bring a new world order in it. Okay. They want to bring a new world society. Okay. See, look, meaning age or era. So they want to bring like a new world era, like a new era. You see, a new system, new order. All right. So it says he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands could not perform the enterprise, their new world order. Yahweh Shah is going to dismantle all of that when he returns. All right. Now let's get into the next topic. Okay, I want to get into what's going on in just more rumors of wars, basically. Okay, so now there's a war with Thailand, Cambodia. I'm gonna play this. All right.
Teenagers are building businesses with AI, while the only AI you know is ChatGPT.
Let's be real. Most people.
I was reading how like Thailand, they have like a more refined military, and Cambodia, they're just their military is not that up to date. Okay, so they're totally getting bombarded by Thailand. Let's get a little bit of reason why they're fighting. I'm not gonna get into the whole video, but let's just play this. Let me get that YouTube premium again.
Oh my God!
Wait, what?
When most people think about Thailand, they probably think of a luxurious holiday destination, or perhaps one of the world's foremost Buddhist nations. Or, if they're viewers of the channel, the fact that it once had a really cool elephant on its flag. But many people don't know that Thailand has a very long and tricky history with its military, who directly ruled the country for several decades, as well as now, quote-unquote, guiding the democracy in Thailand. More recently, Thailand has been embroiled in a border conflict with the neighbouring nation of Cambodia, with whom it shares a large border in the south. This ostensibly goes back to 1907, when parts of what was then the Kingdom of Siam were ceded to the French following the expansion of French power in what was then known as French Indochina, today comprising the countries of Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. The country of Siam, the predecessor of modern Thailand, is famous as being one of the only countries in the world that was never colonized. However, it did see its fortunes decline as a result of the powerful French power to its border, as well as the British on the other side. And it's this move from 1907, which annexed large parts of the kingdom, that can still be felt reverberating to this day. In particular, the 1907 treaty handed over a very old and beautiful temple, Preah Vihear, which then became French territory in 1907. Now, during the Second World War, as I explored in my video about Thailand's role, Thailand became allied with the Japanese, and in fact fought a brief war in 1940 with French Indochina, after which they also assisted the Japanese in taking over large parts of that country and indeed Asia at large.
Right, so let me just speed it up for you. So I put, why are they fighting? So why are they fighting? The conflict. Well, I'll start right here. It says it's a complex mix of historical disputes, nationalist politics, and military escalation that has now erupted into full-blown border clashes between Thailand and Cambodia. What are they fighting about? Historic border disputes. The conflict centers on a largely undemarcated, which is 500-mile border drawn during French colonial rule with ambiguity. Sorry, such a tongue twister word. Ambiguities dating back to a 1907 map that both countries interpret differently. What he was going into. Key flashpoints include the Preah Vihir Temple and surrounding areas in the Emerald Triangle, Tamon Tom and Tamon Tok Takrabai. The International Court of Justice ruled Prayer Vihir belonged to Cambodia in 1962 and again in 2013, but Thailand never accepted full democration and prefers bilateral talks. All right, so it's a temple they're fighting over for. Okay, recent escalation at flashpoints. Tensions rose after a Cambodian soldier was killed on May 28, 2025, in a contested zone. Both sides blamed each other for initiating fire. A series of incidents, including alleged landmine injuries, rocket attacks, and airstrikes, quickly escalated into full-scale confrontations using heavy artillery and F-16 jets. As of late July, which we're in, over 30 plus civilian military personnel are confirmed dead, and 200,000 people have been displaced across both countries. I'll read a couple more. Political and national influences. A public feud between former leaders Thaksin Shinawatra, which is from Thailand, and Hun Sen, Cambodia, has inflamed nationalism and fueled aggressive rhetoric on both sides. Okay, in Thailand, Prime Minister Pay Tong Tarn Shinawatra was suspended in backlash over a leaked conversation with Hun Sen, raising concerns that she's being too soft on Cambodia. All right, military posturing and humanitarian impact. Thailand has declared martial law in several border provinces, tightened border checkpoints, and deployed heavy weaponry to defend sovereignty. All right, I'm just gonna, go down. All right. So cause colonial era border ambiguity. 1907 Franco-Siamese map inconsistently interpreted. Territorial flashpoints, Prayer Vihir Temple, and adjacent disputed zones. Military triggers, May border skirmish and landmine incident escalated fighting. Okay. What happens next? Diplomacy is underway. ASEAN, which I believe stands for Asian Southeastern or Alliance Southeastern Asian Nations. Okay, if I'm not miscorrected. All right. Malaysia and the UN are involved in pressuring for a ceasefire, while Thailand favors bilateral dialogues, and Cambodia seeks ICJ adjudication. Okay. U.S. pressure is intensifying. Former President Trump has publicly urged both parties to cease fire, trying resolution to potential trade tariffs starting August 1st if violence continues. All right. So in short, the conflict is the worst escalation in over a decade, rooted in a colonial era border disputes, right, from 1907, as you read, stoked by nationalist politics, and now unfolding with tragic consequences for civilians on both sides. Let me know if you like timelines, maps. Okay. All right. So, they're fighting over, again, from 1907, all right, a border map interpretation, okay, and a temple, all right. So let's get some scriptures, all right. I can play this while I get it.
As part of this deal with the Japanese promised to help them get back Preah Vihear, which they did in 1941, annexing it back into Thai territory. However, when the war turned against the Japanese in the Pacific, the Thais also stood to lose, and when the end of the war came about, part of the negotiations involved handing the temple back to French Indochina. In 1954, following the end of...
Okay, so that's basically it. I'm just going to stop there with that video. You can read, watch more about it, but I basically got the key points and what I just read in ChatGPT. Matthew 24, verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, so you see that nation rising against nation. All right, hell, it was just a war with Iran and Pakistan. What happened to that? Die down quickly, or something must be going on still. Some skirmishes. Either way, this is all prophecy. All right, and it's all going to lead to a World War III. All right, with the big dogs involving Russia, America, Iran. Okay, and Russia's some of their allies. All right, along with one of them being Iran. All right, so now let's get another video. Okay, because the angels, they are manifesting themselves more and more. All right, and it's beautiful. This video right here, man, when I watched it, I'm like, woof, it's like, man, call it Yabash Mashah, the Lord is near. So it says possibly hostile.
Just really had this sensibility.
Possibly hostile alien threat detected in unknown interstellar objects. 3-eye atlas moving 130 miles per hour. And hey, it's an alien threat to these people, but not to us. We know who they are. It's the angels, man. And Yahushua is going to come. All right?
This is Dabu 7. And believe it or not, we have yet another object. This interstellar object making its way toward Earth that many are saying could be an alien probe. It could have life. A bunch of different theories surrounding this, but an official report put out, and it's making headlines because, if you recall, the very first interstellar object that came through our neck of the woods was dubbed Oumuamua. That means scout, which is something that you send out in front of the larger army to scout things out before they arrive.
Right, and that's the spirit because, hey, they are scouts, man. Get Numbers 13, verse 17. And Moses sent them to spy out the land, Israelites, 12 from each tribe of Canaan, and said unto them, get you up this way southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwelleth therein, whether they be strong or weak or many. All right, and of course, going to the story, they came back with a bad report, basically just a weak-ass report. Excuse my French. The only two who came back with it, saying like, no, we can take them is Joshua and Caleb. Okay? Ephraimite and a Judite. Okay? But the angels, they're spies. They're spying out the land. Okay? Because Yahushua is about to return. Yahushua is about to return. And take and destroy this place, the Esau's kingdom, that is, and establish his kingdom upon the earth.
Army to scout things out before they arrive.
And I just want to say, and this is how he's gonna come, all right, along with the angels. But you call UFOs by chariots, man, spiritual vehicles, all right, spiritual technological vehicles from the heavens, if you can receive it.
This is now the third object, and Oumuamua was long, it was metallic in nature, and it lifted up out of here, picked up speed, and took off out of here when it passed Earth.
Oumuamua.
They don't deny none of this. It's all out there in the open. Now this new object making its way in, dubbed Atlas. They're saying it could potentially be a comet, but seeing where it came from in its trajectory, it's very peculiar. And they're saying that it is not following the line of any other comet, so to speak, if it was going to be a comet, that it starts to fall in line with dropping into the area out of an unknown place. They don't know if it will be hostile. They don't know if it'll be peaceful, none of these things, but it's obvious they've been setting the stage for a grand show. Blue beam, alien invasion, the whole works. Something big is in the offing. And with stories like this continuing to drop, it seems like it's inching closer and closer. Now, I've tracked objects like Comet Elenin, Ison, all those throughout all these years. All kinds of different comets, the Kachinas, people say, potentially in the sky. I've never seen one look like this in the imaging.
Right, look at that.
Where it has all of these different colors.
And that's so spiritual. how he said first a Numa was like metallic, and now this new chariot that's on the radar that they're seeing, right, is with all those colors, because just recently within this month I had a dream where I seen a chariot with those exact colors. It was red, blue. I was looking up in the sky and I seen a chariot, just like a metallic chariot. All right, I was saying like, man, look at that. You know, look up. I was telling the people, they looked up. A woman that was seeing it. I was on the street somewhere in some city. She's like, oh my God. And next thing I know, I look up again. I see that chariot with the different colors. Then the dream switches. And next thing I know, it's nighttime, and I see like this metallic chariot, very small, and it comes up to me. You know, like it had like a mind of its own, which, you know, they do. All right, they do. Okay, you know, the chariot does have like its own spirit, so to speak, like a transformer. That's the only best way I can kind of describe it. But in the dream, it came up to me, and something in the spirit told me to get on it, and I got on it. It was like a metal disc. I got on it, and then I heard a voice saying, "You can control it. Just tell it where you want to go. You can control it using your mind." And I said, you know, okay. I just started navigating. Like go up. Like I was going so high up. I was looking down. I could see a city below me, and it's, you know, I'm like spinning. You know, not fast, but I'm mildly spinning. And I tell, okay, you know, like, you know, relax. You know, just stop spinning, and it stops. And then I go down. You know, it was a crazy dream. You know, I'm basically like, and I was laying on top of it too. I remember I was laying on top of this chariot, because it said get on it. And I was just laying on top of it. So hey, call out Yabash Mashai. Hey, we close, man. The Lord is near.
Like this, never. All we've ever seen is it look like this down here in the bottom right on the black and white images, and when it gets close enough, the comets, so to speak, you could make out the tail off the comets, and you can see these from your own backyard with the telescope once they get close enough. This object is going to come right down near Earth,
man,
to make, I guess, an observance. But when it makes its closest approach, it will be hiding behind the sun. We will not be able to see it. It will strategically and literally be parked behind the sun when it's at its closest approach. So very odd with all the characteristics here. They're expecting this to show up here later this year.
Well, let's go.
It's
man.
moving at an enormous amount of speed, more than 130 miles per hour. This is moving faster than any other object they clocked coming in this way. At this point, they're saying, dubbed 3I/Atlas. This is the new, as they call it, interstellar entity that is heading this way. Join me for the live streams where I talk about this in greater detail, going live Monday.
Luke chapter 21, verse 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh, because that's how the Lord's going to return. And we call chariots with a host of the holy angels, and they're going to come by via chariots. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying with these few topics. On to the next one. Shalom.